To instantly hit the ball 20 yards further, we have to understand one key important aspect of the golf swing that will allow us to generate more club head speed at the golf ball. And it's all to do with what our lower body is doing and our rotation in order to create enough leverage to try to create the club head speed desired to hit the golf ball further. So if I limit my hip rotation, at this point in the golf swing, this is basically as far as I can swing the club. But as soon as I start to add in more hip rotation, you can see that my club head is going to travel a longer distance, and therefore I'm going to have more potential for me to be able to come down and swing at this golf ball and generate more club head speed. And so a lot of people who are struggling with distance are essentially only using their upper half of their body to generate the speed. So what we're going to talk about today is being able to create a more consistent lower body rotation that will actually allow you to generate the speed necessary. And so the biggest key concepts is how the hips are going to rotate and how the setup is going to influence that. So when we set up, if our toes are pointing directly towards the camera in this direction here, it's going to make it very difficult for my hips to rotate in the backswing and in the downswing as well. And so the easiest way to try to create more speed and more hip rotation is by pointing this right foot out and pointing this lead foot out as well. That's going to essentially open up our hip joints and allow us to rotate further in the backswing and then further in the downswing. Now, if you've been struggling with distance for a very long time and you want some one-to-one coaching from me, the link is down below. And so when we create a better setup positioning, it's going to actually allow us, when we're in our golf swing, to generate 45 degrees of hip turn. Now, if we can't generate 45 degrees of hip turn, we might be limited in our mobility, or we might just not have the understanding of what the hips actually need to do. And so for that reason, what I would also try to do to make this even more easier is just drop the right foot back. This is therefore going to increase the hip rotation, therefore allow us to rotate the chest more in the backswing, and therefore the club will go longer in the backswing as well, or travel a longer distance. And essentially why that's important is because if you think about if I'm at this point here and I come in to hit the golf ball, or if I swing up to here and then come to the golf ball, our intended power or our effort is going to be the exact same, but because the club has traveled a longer distance to the top of our backswing, it's therefore going to have more time to speed up by the time it actually reaches the golf ball. And so by allowing our setup to influence a better hip rotation, we can then be able to create the desired look and the desired speed at impact to try to create the position that we're looking for. Because trying to just force speed into the driver swing can be very difficult because then you start to spray it out towards the right or out towards the left and have no club face control whatsoever. So ideally, we're trying to create a golf swing that feels the exact same, but generates a different result. Now, these two setup adjustments by flaring both of the feet outwards like this and dropping that right foot back is going to essentially create more hip rotation, and it will feel a little bit weird to start with, but by the time you get used to that, we should be able to add a few more degrees to our hip rotation, therefore adding more potential to the length of our golf swing, and therefore by the time we reach impact, we can then start to hit it further. Now, there are a number of different ways that you can try to generate more speed, and sometimes increasing distance actually isn't about swinging it faster. It could be having a more penetrating ball flight. And so when you're trying to instantly gain distance to your driver, these two setup adjustments will be the simplest and quickest way to try to generate more speed. I'm not saying that this is the only way that you can generate more speed. It's just one of many different ways to go about it. And so just to recap, the setup change that we talked about was flaring both of these feet more outwards and then dropping this trail foot back. That's essentially going to allow us to generate more speed. And I want you to try setting up like this and have our feet aligned towards the target and then try to get the hip rotation. Then open up both feet, drop the trail foot back, and see how much added hip rotation you can generate just from making these two simple changes. And again, if you need any help with your golf swing, the link to one-on-one coaching is down below. And if not, I'll see you in the next one.